It's the end of a long day, right? Maybe even a really long week. Before you totally check out, let's just take a few moments together to pause and reflect with a really powerful practice. We're going to walk through something called an evening equity meditation. It's designed to help us reset not just our minds, but our intentions, with a real sense of purpose and compassion.
The whole practice kicks off with the simplest, most direct invitation there is. So, you know what? Let's actually do that right now. Wherever you are, just take a deep breath in and a slow breath out. This is our moment to just get grounded before we dive in. And with that breath, we're actually setting an intention. The idea is to consciously let go of all the tensions and biases that we pick up throughout the day, and then to actively choose to fill that space with empathy. It's a simple, physical thing that gets our minds ready for the deeper work. So this whole practice comes from Dr. Shungu M'gadzah's Training the Brain for Equity series. And look, it's not just about winding down for the night. It's about intentionally looking back at our day so we can step into tomorrow with a little more courage and a lot more compassion.
Okay, so what is an evening equity meditation really? Well, at its core, it's basically a tool. It gives us a structured way to connect our day-to-day actions, the meetings we were in, the people we talk to, with our deeper values. It helps us check in with ourselves and ask, hey, are my actions actually lining up with my commitment to equity and empathy?
The very first stage is all about reflection. But this isn't about just passively replaying your day in your head. No, it's an active process. It's guided by some really powerful questions that are designed to make us look a little closer at our interactions, and maybe at the assumptions hiding just beneath the surface.
Let's start with this first question. Just take a second and think about everyone you cross paths with today. The prompt asks us to think beyond just what was said and really consider how we engaged with their differences. Did we lean in and try to find common ground? Or did we maybe pull back a little, shying away from a real connection?
This one pushes us to go even deeper. It asks us to really think about whether our connections today were easy, familiar, or if we made a conscious choice to step into a space that required a bit more vulnerability, maybe a little more listening, and just more genuine effort. And if we realize we didn't step out of that cave, the practice asks us to consider, okay, why not? This is a moment for some really honest self-assessment. Was it fear? Was it just discomfort? Maybe a lack of awareness? The whole key here is to identify those personal barriers without any judgment. And this is where the whole thing pivots from reflection to action. After looking back, we immediately turn our focus to the future. See, this isn't about getting stuck on mistakes. It's about setting a clear intention for how we want to show up and grow tomorrow. This leads us right into the next stage of the practice. So after we reflect, we move into affirmation. This is where we actively work to shift that voice in our head, you know the one, from self-criticism to self-compassion, and a real commitment to do better.
This affirmation is just so powerful because it's all about self-compassion. The idea is that you can't really grow if you're weighed down by shame. This simple sentence gives us the grace to acknowledge that, hey, we are all works in progress. We're always learning, always evolving.
This here really lays out the core mindset shifts of the whole practice. It's about letting go of that impossible standard of perfection and instead choosing progress. It's about moving past using silence as a shield and instead choosing the hard work of authentic compassion. And it's about dropping that mask of tolerance to do the real internal work of correcting our own thinking.
So, this all sounds great, but how do we turn all this inner reflection into actual, tangible change? Well, that's where the awareness to action framework comes in. Think of it as the bridge that connects our internal mindset to our external impact on the world.
The path here is actually pretty simple and logical. It all starts with the awareness we just built through our reflection. That new awareness then allows us to set a clear intention for what we want to do differently. And finally, that intention is what guides us toward purposeful action. See? Awareness, intention, action.
So what does this action part actually look like in real life? The 6 stages framework gives us these amazing guiding principles. And notice how they're all active verbs. It's not just about feeling compassionate, it's about acting with compassion, building bridges, speaking up with courage. It's about making that crucial shift from just being passively aware to being actively inclusive. And that brings us to the final part of the practice, setting your intention. This is where we pull everything together that we've just reflected on, and we get ready to carry it forward, not just into tomorrow, but into the entire week ahead.
Now, the practice encourages us to be really focused and realistic. So instead of some vague desire to be better, we're prompted to choose just 3 specific intentions. Why 3? Well, it makes our goals manageable, it makes them measurable, and it really increases the chance that we'll actually follow through.
And as we set those personal intentions for ourselves, the practice leaves us with this pretty profound question. How can you shine a light for others? This connects our own individual growth to our role in the wider community. It's a beautiful reminder that our actions, no matter how small they feel, can have a ripple effect.
So, to wrap up our little exploration of this practice, I'll leave you with this final, powerful question to take with you. Look back at those principles we just saw: building bridges, acting with compassion, speaking up with courage. Which one of those will be your compass this week? That choice, that's where reflection becomes real, meaningful action.